All right, and as always, Giants head coach Joe Judge is going to break it down. All right, so the game doesn't get off to a great start, right? They go down the field, they score against you guys. But then complementary football starts to come into play in the first quarter. And, Coach, we're going to take a look at after a series on offense in which you're not able to move the ball, you execute on special teams, and it kind of sets things up for you.
Well, you said it's complementary football, and that's why we play 60 minutes. So we're going to start out today with a punt. And really the emphasis today on all the clips, really the fundamentals and how it applies on over. All good plays start with good fundamentals. So we're going to start out right here, really highlighting one of the tougher positions in all of football. A lot of people don't realize is the gunner shot right here. Now, in pro football, these are the only two players that on the snap on a punt can cover live. So what a lot of teams do is they create double teams on it. So we call it a vice if it's 2-on-1 in the line of scrimmage. And a lot of times they're going to drop an interior help player to really go ahead and get a second body on that gunner running down the field. Now, these guys have to understand very rarely you're going to get any kind of call in your favor. So you got to play through everything coming your way. As you look on down right here, that staggered stance right there from the Rams, we call that a quick jam. What he's looking to do on the snap is just come off the line and really plug your outside shoulder and keep you from outside releasing. What Cam Brown's got to do a good job here of is really working to split these guys coming back down the field and then get to that ball right there and be a penetrator in his face. On the backside, Corey's got to do a good job of inside releasing here, running to the ball and knowing he's going to get a lot of traffic coming back. And his main objective is get down there, stop the return from getting going, but also cut off that field and stop these big field returns. Now, we got a directional punter with Riley. What he's really looking to do is place the ball on a part of the field to really go ahead and cut off the rest of the 53 yards. So in a perfect world, we want the ball on or outside the numbers over here as he's going to walk in a tight thing right here. Now, inside, we'll show from the back view, but they're going to create really the apex when they're working, and just like a quarterback steps up in the pocket, that's the same theory of the punter stepping up in the pocket with the punt team protecting for him. So we're looking at this right here. We call this, all right, really a 7-man box because they've got 2 outside, and they've got 7 guys right here within that box area there. So we're looking at 7 guys here to hold up the inside and maybe some droppers out there. So we're going to go ahead and start here with the gunners on the edge. Now the ball turns over right there, and you can see right away Cam's got a tough job right here with that quick grab. You see the hands out there on his shoulders. He's got to play through that contact. The official who's going to look for that right here is 60 yards downfield. So you're not going to get any calls right there. You just got to be a guy who plays relentless and gets off the contact. Now what Cam does a good job of here is he sheds it and then splits them going down the field. And now we get a cover guy working down the field to really cut that thing off with some leverage and get in his face. As we go to the top of the screen right here, you see Corey Ballantyne. As it happens a lot of times, it's not just a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-1, but this can become at times really 3-on-1 right here, where they've got the corner on him, they got the safety dropping over top, and they got this guy's going to check right away to see if he gets beat, and then he'll pull back in for the most dangerous man coming down the field. So really, Corey's got really a 3-on-1 matchup right there to make sure that him and Cam can't just kill the return before it gets started. So the gunner job on the outside often gets overlooked right there. Some of the best matchups and physical play you can see all of football. All right, now going back to Riley right here as the punter, and just going ahead and understand the punting mechanics. You know, what we try to tell Riley all the time is your power is within your body frame. So when you watch a punter, you don't want to gain a lot of ground. We tell them short is smooth, smooth is fast, and fast is powerful. So when you watch Riley right here, the punter does a really tremendous job generating a lot of power and hang time. And ultimately what you're looking for is the hang time to match the distance. If it's a 45-yard punt, you want a 4.5 hang time. 50-yard punt, you want a 5.0 hang time in an ideal world right there. Now watching Riley here does a good job right there of staying very short, very controlled. What a lot of people don't realize is how low that ball actually gets contacted. It's really below the knee that you've got to strike that thing and lift it up. But you see the coordination he has, and really for a punter, before anything happens with your foot, it all starts with your hands. The first thing you evaluate on a punter is what kind of hands do they have? Because if you can't catch the snap, get it seated, get in position the right way every time, it's going to be a lot of miss hits and bad punts. So you watch Riley, he's a good athlete. He's got a lot of fakes in college. There's a lot of potential to do fakes at this level as well. He's definitely a weapon for us right there. But really just starting with his punting right here, you see him right there, very short, controlled, and the ball just comes off his foot. Almost looks effortless right there. And you see the height, the hang time, the direction, and how he's able to paint this guy into a corner there. And now we can squeeze directionally to prevent that field return. And now we've got Cam coming down as the gunner, and we've got the interior covering behind him, that there's really nowhere to go for Cooper here with the ball in his hand. So it's a dangerous player with the ball in his hand. They do a good job right there as far as getting it started. Now on the back end right here, all right, as far as watching the protection that leads into everything else going, to let the gunners do their job and let Riley do his job, we're just going to watch the interior with the protection right here. Now, just in generic rules, and this changes by team and by scheme, but just by generic rules, we call these the wings, the tackles, the guard, and that's just a long snapper right there. This guy here, Nate Edmonds, called the PP. He's really the quarterback of the entire punt team. He makes all the calls, the adjustments, the operations. It's his job to set everything the right way. All right, and by base rules, in just about every scheme, the wings have the 1. He's counted outside in the box. The tackles have the 2. The guards have the 3. Okay, and on the other side, it'd be 1, 2, 3. And what you have to be alert for right here is what's their body position and what do they look like. So you got to look like this right here. You got a little bit of a slight tilt with a down 4-point stance. So you know he's coming somewhere straight ahead, and he's coming hard right there in a 4-point stance. And you got the stand-up guy. So now he's more free to loop across the snapper's face or maybe play something off of the man down who's going to charge straight ahead. So we're going to start right here where if I've got the 2 and I've got the 3 and there's some kind of a twist game or a loop right there, we've got to pass off an exchange and take the final number 2, the final number 3 right there. But they do a good job here with their footwork of vertically set and not widen out, opening gaps right here. And you really see just a good solid pocket right there of working within the protection and where the punter's walking. And the coaching point for Riley is really you never want to walk too wide. You know, where's your protection really? You see how he offsets right here in his alignment, and he's truly just walking foot to foot, and that's really what we're protecting right there is keep all the rushers outside of that apex, and then Nate will step up in here and take anything leaking through, or his count is number 4 if there's an 8th guy in the box, and we'll make sure that we get this guy going clean and free to it.
Now we're going to take a look at some defense and forcing turnovers, being opportunistic after the good punt and the execution. Now you show really good team defense here after they had gone down on their first possession and scored pretty easily.
Right, so the punt obviously set us up with good field position, flipping the field for us. The defense comes out and does a good job. So we're going to start with the match and the play. We're going to tie a lot of fundamentals that get into, you know, just the fundamental aspects of the game of not only playing effectively, but also playing safely as well. So we're going to start right here, and you watch the Rams. It's off that cross motion, and here comes the look off that zone run, all right, where they're really trying to stretch the defense out there with the action. And there's the boot by Goff. Now, our backers do a good job of seeing this right away and reading through. And as you see on the back, and we'll show in a second, our defensive line is looking through the initial blocks right here to recognize it's not run, but it's a boot going back the other way. Now, what you see here is we get a good shot here of Blake Martinez. Once he identifies it's not run, it's pass, he wheels around, he finds the over route. Here's Logan Ryan peeking over because the coverage we're in, finding the deep over route coming to him. We got a hard corner in the flat for the flat route coming out right here, and we're all matched up. You know, what they're looking for is really that chief or that check down route, that 4th element of it, where it almost becomes that check down over or slightly behind the quarterback to throw that thing back in. Now, based on the defensive concept you're in, there's different ways of handling this. And this specific one here, we put a lot on the defensive line this week. We told them, hey, we're going to have to react and run and get some effort plays coming back that check down's hit. We need some big guys on some hustle plays to go ahead and get the ball on the field. Now, we're always looking defensively to play with the right fundamentals and right technique. That's number 1, to be effective, and number 2, and more importantly, to really be safe. So we're always talking about tackling. A lot of people at home ask all the time, tackling, how safe it is. We work a lot of live tackling in practice, but we work it to be safe and to be effective. And the biggest thing we preach to our players all the time are eyes up, see what you hit. And we'll show a couple coaching points in a second that really ties in. So back to the scheme part of it right there. We're matched up pretty well right there. Again, you see Logan, you see Blake right there at the over, you see the hard corner, and there comes the ball out right there to that check down route over the middle. Well, Austin Johnson, after playing the run, identified it. Now here he comes down the line in hard pursuit for the tackle. Now here comes Blake, and I'm going to kind of low-light Blake, and he'll get his feelings hurt, but he'll be all right. He'll be all right when he makes enough tackles. We'll be okay with him. All right, and then Austin's going to come on through and have great technique on how to finish the play right here. So Blake right there off a missed tackle. Here comes Austin right there, and you see him jarring the ball loose, and we're going to talk from the back end in terms of why that happened. All right, and how important it is to have the right technique. So it's a great job right there of getting it out. Defense rallying to the ball. Let me point this out real quick, just little things with Bradbury right here. So we talk about our safe fumble recovery. So again, being safe, being effective. So Brad gets it initially on his stomach. All right, well, 2 things are going to happen when you're on your stomach. Number 1, the ball's still exposed from either side if it becomes a pile to get ripped out. Number 2, you're going to have a lot of bodies laying on top of you. That's a lot of broken ribs that are vulnerable right there. So what we teach our players is once we get the ball, we want to get to that side fetal position like Brad's in right there. And we want to squeeze our knees up to our chin and clinch on that ball till the guys in white and black stripes come over and we hand it to them. So it's a good shot here. You see the size guy coming in with the Rams trying to rip that ball out. It's safe in there in that fetal position. We're covering our man up and protecting him right there. But he doesn't have any threat right there getting that ball ripped away from him, and he has no threat of going ahead and getting hurt, wind knocked out of you, broken ribs, anything like that right there. Now, let's go ahead and start right up here, and we're going to highlight Austin right here. So as he's reading his run keys, working on through, you're going to see his eyes and vision going back to the mesh point between the quarterback and the running back right there. He does a good job of recognizing this thing right here and then retracing. So you see him right there with the eye control looking through that shoulder right there to see what's going on in the backfield. And once he recognizes his boot, you can see him, you can see Dex, all of them fall off right there, and then be in pursuit going back towards the ball. Now, here it is. We're matched well, and here comes the fundamentals. So again, I'm going to highlight a couple things right here on tackling. All right, number one, you've got to keep your eyes up. You got to see what you hit. All right, and the fundamental coach point we give with our players are you've got to keep your feet moving. To tackle safely, you want your head up. And just the way the human body works, when your feet stop, your head ducks down. You got to keep your feet moving, keep killing that grass and buzzing it quickly to make sure you keep your eyes up. And the coaching point we give our players is bite the ball. So as Blake goes in right here, we want Blake to put his mouth on that ball. And the reason we say bite the ball is if my mouth is up to bite the ball, where are my eyes? Oh, they got to come up. If I can see what I hit, I'm in a safe position, I'm in an effective position to finish that play. Now, the sin he commits right here is we stop our feet right here. All right, his head drops when his feet stop, and that leads to the Rams player just making a good play in space right there and spinning out. Now, in comes Austin with good pursuit. Rolling on through, there's the ball right there. He's keeping his eyes on the ball to keep his mouth on it to bite that ball. And as a result right there, playing through the contact, there's the jarred out fumble right there. Leads to the ball on the ground. There's James getting back to that fetal position right there and securing it. So again, it's about being effective, it's about being safe. It all starts with good fundamentals, right? The eye control of Austin, the hustle and pursuit on the angle, the missed tackle by Blake, the made tackle by Austin, eyes up, bite the ball, jar it out, and then the fumble recovery by James right there.
Some really good execution and obviously a lot of safety measures involved in just this one play. Coach, as the game wore on, and this is in the first quarter, you started to get some production on first down. And after you guys forced the turnover, here's an example of it.
Yeah, well, the big thing on offense is staying ahead of the sticks. You know, good third down teams are good on early downs. So the importance of second down is huge. You want to be successful on first down, all right, and you want to be good on third down to keep the drives going. But that bridge in between it gets forgotten about a lot of time is second down. So if it's first and long, to go ahead and close that gap. If it's second and short, okay, to go ahead and take a shot down the field or make sure you just run the ball and effectively get a first down and keep the drive going and eliminate third down. But it's a good shot right here. We're in a 2nd and 7 situation. It's coming right after the fumble recovery we just saw a second ago. All right, and it's really just a good opportunity here. We had some runs going, ticking it on through. We're really building our run game this week, which we saw a lot of improvement on as a team. All right, but it's a good job here of really highlighting a play action pass. And this is going to all be set up right here, all right, with the play fake inside from Daniel and Devontae. All right, it's going to open up right here off the stalk block look, just an in-cut going behind the defense. It's going to be good protection inside to give Daniel time. And then it all comes down to making the throw right here with number 8. And he does a really good job in these in-cuts right here of zipping in there and not only putting the ball on the receiver, but put it in front of him so he can catch the ball and run and gain more yards. So we'll start out here from the outside, just a little bit of a shift and a motion, all right, that we get early on. All right, puts Evan right here, more in the backfield set right here as far as some cross action here on it. And there's the play fake. And then you see right away the offensive line does a decent job of really forming that pocket and give Daniel some space to sit back there and see it. Now on the outside, we're going to watch Damian right here as he's pressing on up, and the defender's got to sit on back and hold his leverage. And this gives us an opportunity right here to just go ahead and stick that ball behind that drop defender in that seam curl as we identify it. And there's kind of that vulnerable open zone right there in it. Daniel sees it, Damian gets to the right spot at the right time and does a good job of hitting it right there. Now we can go to the back end right here and highlight a few more shots of it, of how it all comes together. Nothing happens on offense without the up front doing their job. It all starts with these 5 guys right here. All right, they don't get a lot of praise a lot of times, but these are the guys that start every good play off. All right, so you watch right here, just a play fake right there with Devontae. You can see the late reaction by the Rams defenders, creating some space behind them for the pass. So for us to have a shot right here with Damian, first we've got to go ahead and suck those guys up a little bit and give them a chance to get going. All right, good shot on the outside. You see the width created by Kevin and Cam. You see Will doing a good job on the line of scrimmage. Gates is really checking right here for some penetration coming first. He's going to work back on over. And you got Andrew right here, so there's good width on the formation for Daniel to get started with it. Now, play comes off, all right. They react off the play fake. They work back to their zone, and the in cut comes in right behind them. So it's not just about seeing who he's throwing behind, but also who's breaking and who Daniel's throwing in front of. So the timing of the route, you see well before Damian even gets into the screen, Daniel's in his windup right there, and he's really releasing that ball really based on the timing of it right there. And does a great job there. There's that hold of defense, and as you look at it, it's about hitting them in stride and getting them right there. And you see all 4 defenders, they're breaking the second that quarterback's eyes and that windup starts. So he's got to catch this thing, and you see it's a good job here by Damian, back to the fundamentals of ball security, of catching this thing, putting it in the arm. And the thing we're emphasizing is the nose of the ball has to always stay up. If the nose of the ball is up, that's high, that's tight. Want to press to keep the elbow as tight to your body as possible. And that way we're eliminating opportunities for the defense to punch the ball out from underneath. And if the nose stays up and laid slightly across our chest, they can't punch down on it because your chest acts like a backboard to support that ball right there. But it's a good job here. Good delivery by Daniel. All right, good protection up front. Good timing on the route. Good ball security. It gives us a chance right there to go ahead and have another productive play, get down that red zone.
Coach, great stuff as always. Thank you so much for taking our audience inside not only the X's and O's, but really fundamental football techniques that anybody who's watching this show, and if you got kids playing Pop Warner football or maybe you're coaching some football, these are things that you've talked about that apply to any level, don't they?
Every good play starts with good fundamentals.
All right, Coach, good luck this week.
Thanks, Bob.